All right, well, hello and welcome, my friends. I finally cut my hair, by the way. Hopefully, you guys think it looks like fine in the back here. But either way, I'm here to talk about Bo Nix and why he is going to really catch fire at the end of the season. But before we get into it, I just want to say a couple things. First of all, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. You can follow me on Twitter if you like what I have to say on here at Kodiak Broncos. Regardless, without further ado, let's dive right into it. Talking about Bo Nix, I'm thinking mainly about the most recent game against Kansas City because he looked like an entirely different quarterback. Okay, we had seen flashes this past year. We had seen the fourth quarter against the Giants. We'd seen the fourth quarter against the Eagles. We also saw a couple really good games against the Bengals and Cowboys, but those defenses were absolutely poverty those days. So this was a really good litmus test for Bo Nix, and he looked like an entirely different quarterback this past Sunday. And I saw a guy who was stepping up in the pocket, not being jittery, and not bailing at any sign of pressure, which, to be completely honest, those were my main gripes with him in the first 3, 4, even 5 weeks of the season, and they only got worse throughout the year, in my opinion. But overall, a much better outing, and this is the second year in a row that he has outplayed Patrick Mahomes in November, in the middle of the year. Now, obviously, the records were kind of tilted this time around. Last year, Kansas City was undefeated when we went into Arrowhead. This time, we were 8-2, and Kansas City was sitting at unfamiliar territory at 5-4. But either way, Kansas City, that was a gotta have it game for them, and they did not. They did not. So their chances of winning the division are basically over. But in Kansas City, they're never out of it. I imagine even if they sneak into the wild card team, I still think they're going to be like top 3, top 2 in Super Bowl odds at the very worst. But still, you got to respect them. You got to respect them in the fact that they are winning in big games. And this is the second year in a row that he has led a game-winning drive against the Chiefs in November. Now, last year, unfortunately, it was a crucial special teams mistake and all-time disaster on field goal protection that absolutely ended up selling the game for us to the Kansas City Chiefs. But special teams didn't fail us this time. Okay, Will Lutz did what he was supposed to do. Marvin Mims, a couple big, nice returns to set us up in plus territory as well. So, overall, you're just seeing more complimentary football. I guess that could be a fourth reason that I didn't have mentioned on here. This was more complimentary football. This wasn't the special teams putting us behind the eight ball or anything like that. And yes, we still committed our fair share of penalties, but overall, it didn't matter. We still picked up 2, 3 big third downs, third and longs, by the way, third and 8+. So, yeah, that was really good. But either way, overall, like I said, Bo Nix looked like an absolutely different quarterback this past Sunday. And it just gives me a lot of hope for going forward because Spagnuolo, he is a pressure quarterback, or he's a pressure defensive coordinator. He knows how to get after a quarterback. He knows what they're good at. He knows what they're bad at. And the only thing I will say, I would have liked to have seen us be a little sharper in the red zone, but oh well. That's not for me to just to criticize Bo on for. But yeah, overall, that's how I'm feeling about that. And let's see if I can somehow get to my second slide. All right, so him and Sean Payton have finally found an offensive balance, okay? It's been a struggle all year long with personnel, shifting everything and getting the right plays in. Now, what's confusing to me is if you're going up against a tough defense like Houston, if you're going up against a tough defense like, I don't know, Philly, then I get the massive personnel substitutions. I get wanting, to get a certain look. I get wanting to think that you have the matchup advantage. I get wanting to like sub guys out, not only keep them fresh, but show a lot of different looks to the defense. I get wanting to do that, but at the end of the day, sometimes it just needs to be our guys versus their guys. Let's just go out and beat them. This was a big problem during the Raiders game on Thursday Night Football, which was 10 days before the game against the Chiefs. A lot of people, I think somebody was caught on the hot mic saying, get the expletive plays in or whatever, or get the blah blah subs in or whatever. And I think that was more the frustration is that, I don't know if it's the position coaches. I don't know if it's Sean Payton who's failing to deliver and failing to be really slow there, but they want to be really precise at getting their plays in. And, when you run to the line 15 seconds left, it does nobody any good to go to the line with 9 seconds left because then you're panicking, then you're, kind of slow getting there, then you don't have as much time to digest what the defense is giving you. And a second pre-snap is very valuable. A second or two, an extra second, 2 or 3, pre-snap is very valuable because it allows the offensive line to analyze the protections. It allows the wideouts to, see what kind of routes they're going to have to run. It allows, just a whole lot of things for the offense to digest, as I put it, when, you're going up against the defense and you can finally, take what they're giving you and you can, go from there and execute. But either way, Sean Payton, he had talked a lot about this year about how he didn't want to go into tempo because he wanted to respect our defense. Okay, he was like, okay, well, if we're gonna go three and out a bunch, then we need to, at least give the defense some semblance of a break. And I get that, but the offense had done so well up tempo for the most part this year. And I think there was a drive where we did go tempo, primarily on the against the Chiefs. I don't know which drive it was. I know it was the drive we scored on. Don't remember if it was our touchdown drive or one of the field goal drives or whatever. But it had been really frustrating, I think, for Broncos country because you look at the fourth quarters against the Giants, against the Eagles, then you're just like, what happened quarters 1 through 3? Why did it take so long? Why did it take so long for us to come alive and start playing our best ball? And why did that not happen until, it was crunch time when we really needed it? And that was the thing, with Bo Nix, I was saying that all year long. I was like, he looks like an entirely different quarterback in the fourth quarter. And it's not just him, it's the entire structure of the offense, I think he hadn't got a lot of help from his weapons either. I think there were just too many penalties on the offensive line too. Yeah, but Sean Payton said we'll be ready after the bye, and he sure as heck was. And the one thing that you cannot deny about Sean Payton, you could say whatever you want about how he's a weird individual, but A, he completely rebuilt this culture. So I'm not going to take that away from him. And B, he is one of the best coaches I have ever seen at self-scouting, okay? 2 years ago, we gave up 70 points to the Miami Dolphins, and then we were taking the football away at will on the defensive side of the ball that very same year, okay? Last year, there were a lot of things that went on, and Sean Payton got him corrected. And Sean Payton has always said, we need to get that cleaned up. And for a lot of this year, I was saying, where's the mop bucket? But it looks like a lot of this finally did get cleaned up, which is great to see. 3, Bo Nix last year. I'm taking you guys back to last year. He played his best football after our mini bye. Now, the first 5-6 weeks of the year, ugly, except for that Raiders game last year where we stormed back and ended up winning like 34-18 or whatever. That was really ugly, what we had seen from Bo Nix in the first month of 2024. But I don't think he played his best ball after our regular bye week in 2024, but I'm willing to chalk that up to the back fractures and the turf toe. But after the Saints Thursday Night Football game last year, he came out scorching versus Carolina versus Atlanta. In those games, whenever he dropped back, I'm just like, this is a 10-yard completion. This is a 15-yard completion. It was very similar to how I felt against Dallas this upcoming year. And he looked like an entirely different quarterback during those games. And the form and potential he showed during October, November last year, that was the quarterback we drafted 12th overall. That was who we think can lead us to a deep playoff run. That's who we think could ultimately, hoist a Lombardi here in Denver. Now, I was very critical of Bo. This isn't mentioned in any of my slides. I was very, very critical of Bo throughout this entire season, quite simply because I thought most of the offensive struggles were on him. I didn't think he was getting a lot of help from his weapons, or honestly, Sean Payton was making things super easy on him. But I thought for the most part, Bo Nix was the main problem with the offense. But if Bo Nix can be a actual strength for this team, then we're going to be very hard to beat because you have an elite defense. Your special teams is starting to really put it together. Your special teams has actually made game-changing plays in the past, 2-3 games or whatever. So, yeah, overall, that's how I'm feeling about Bo Nix. And I think he's really going to come alive. I think he's really going to come out scorching against Washington next week when we finally get the chance to play him in 9 games. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think Bo Nix is going to play his best football? Because I get a lot of the criticisms of him. I get a lot of the, detriments of his game this past season, but there's no denying that he looked like a different quarterback, and there's no denying that if he gets hot and plays to his potential and plays, honestly, just in the way that he played last year, honestly, if he can do that, I think we have a better overall team that's equipped to not get blown out in the wild card game by Buffalo. Now, obviously, our weapons played really bad in that game, and the weapons are the biggest concern for me going forward, as crazy that is to sound. It's not Bo Nix. It's the run game without Dobbins. It's the weapons as well, eliminating the untimely drops, eliminating the untimely mistakes, not getting penalized. That's all things we have to worry about going forward. But if Bo Nix can elevate this team, I see no reason why we can't win the Lombardi Trophy. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think that Bo Nix is going to come out scorching again against Washington? Let me know what you guys think. Sorry, this is my slide from the Vance Joseph video I made yesterday. But yeah, all right, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.